This is an interview with Carlos Gutierrez, drummer for Fueled by Fire, on Sunday, October 3rd, 2021, by Nick Burkell. Now, Carlos, tell me about getting your very first drum set.
Oh man, I think my very first drum set, dude. I think like everybody, I listened to your podcast with Jerry from Bonded by Blood, Witch Haven, and he was saying how he got his first bass was through Christmas. Same thing, man. I got my first kit. Can't remember the year exactly, but it was a Christmas gift from my parents, and they knew that I was into playing the drums. I've been wanting drums for quite a while as a kid, and you know, like all drummers start playing on pots and pans and shit around the house, and mine was like Avon boxes because my grandmother, she was an Avon lady, so I had plenty of like boxes. So I was just like using like hangers as sticks and stuff like that just to like smack on these boxes. But yeah, that was my first drum kit. It was like I was like 14 or so, 13, 14 years old when I got my first drum kit. I think I was like 14. But yeah, it was a Christmas gift, man.
When you were younger, can you tell me about like any music schools, private tutors, or conservatories you were a part of to develop yourself as a musician?
I'm self-taught. The only type of like teaching of any type of percussion that I did was in high school. Actually, there was a percussion class. It was called World Percussion, and what it was like a steel pan band that they had just introduced to the school, and they had like background like drummers that played like timbales, like talking drums, and like congas and different types of like world like drums. And I was playing those type of drums. I played like all those like timbales and stuff like that. And then later on, as I progressed in my schooling or whatever in that class through the years, I played bass for the steel pan band, and it was cool, man. Like we would travel and play like Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, and like these dinner events and things like that they would invite us to. So that was basically like the only type of schooling that I had with music at all. And it wasn't like traditional drums. Like that was like the music, it was the music room. So there was like a traditional drum set there, but they didn't let our class like hop on it or anything or touch any of those instruments, because that was like for the jazz band and everything. So anytime the teacher like walked out, I would like jump behind that kit and like play as much as I can, which was very low, and like just trying to like just do like a groove or something. But yeah, that was like my very first time like actually like getting behind a kit and like seeing a kit like live actually, and like and playing, man. But yeah, it was like a steel pan band, world percussion band that I was in high school. That was the only type of schooling that I got.
What was it like forming Fueled by Fire?
Same thing. Me and my friend Sal, who started the band with me, Sal Zepeda. Um, he wanted to play guitar. We're into like, you know, metal, like System of a Down, Slipknot, a lot of the new metal type stuff, Rage Against the Machine. He wanted to play guitar, and I wanted to play drums. And he told me like, "Yo, let's start a band one day." And he's like, "I'm gonna get a guitar," and I was like, "Tight, I want to play drums, so I'll get some drums." So that's when I asked, you know, my parents for some drums for Christmas. As soon as we got them, man, we were just kind of like learning our instruments, and we actually like just kind of started the band with another friend of ours named Adrian Gallego, and he was supposed to be playing bass, and he got bass like a year later than us and was kind of jamming with us. But yeah, that's how Fuel by Fire started. We were in high school and just wanted to play music, and then literally got instruments for Christmas and just started jamming. And the way that Fuel by Fire just kind of came about, we were at a talent show at school and watching our friend's band, which is called Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and they were blowing us away, man. These guys were amazing at their instruments already, like in high school, and their music was just like heavy. They were like a death metal band, and watching them like super inspired us to like really get it started. And like I remember my friend Adrian was like, hey, I think I have a name for the band. It's called Fueled by Fire. And we didn't have a name, and we're just like, that sounds cool, like let's just name the band that. And I don't even think we were playing or trying to play originals yet, or I think we had like one song and it was called Fueled by Fire. But like other than that, we were playing like System of a Down covers, a lot of System of a Down covers, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that's how Fueled by Fire started, man, back in high school.
Now, what was the LA metal scene like when the full-length Spread the Fire came out?
Man, the LA metal scene was at that time was pretty rowdy, dude. Like at that time, a couple years before, like 2004, 2005, we were playing a lot of backyards and things like that, and breaking out into LA because we come from Norwalk, which is county of LA, but still like southeast suburb of LA. And over there, we're playing nothing but like when we would play backyards, it was like a bunch of punk gigs. So coming out to like East LA and Compton and backyards out here in LA were different. That's where like a lot of the metalheads were. It was all punk metal and like it was all mixed, and it was cool. So breaking out into LA took a while until like 2005, 2006. Things just kind of started to turn around. We started to get into the clubs, playing like the Knitting Factory, the Whiskey, just playing smaller like Monday nights and things like that, and having to sell a bunch of tickets and things like that. And we always brought a crowd, and we always sold tickets, and so it was cool to finally get into the Whiskey and be able to do that, and like be able to get like a real crowd and real like support from like metalheads, man. But when Spread the Fire came out, I think that's when everything was just like going nuts out here. Everybody was super into the underground bands like us and Merciless Death and Bonded by Blood, and it was rowdy, dude. Like the pits were crazy, the shows were rowdy, and all the bands. I just remember the energy was just like, it was cool, man. We're all kids, not like, what else do we have to do other than just play some sick ass music and just go have fun and go nuts. So it was a cool time, 2006, around when Spread the Fire came out. It was a lot of support from the LA scene, and it was rowdy, man.
Now, what do you remember the most about getting to play in Japan's True Thrash Fest when Plunging into Darkness came out?
Oh man, I mean, just going to Japan is amazing. Japan's an amazing country, dude. What I can remember, it was super fucking cold, and it was the first time it snowed in Osaka in like, they said like 20 years or something like that, for some odd reason. And but that experience was amazing, man. I mean, the shows were great. The support out there is amazing. This is the first time we had like people coming and meeting us at our hotel and like asking for pictures and autograph, and it was just like, whoa, this is different. This isn't what we're used to, So that was a whole different experience in itself. And then playing the fest was cool. We played 2 nights, and 2 different sets each night, and it was super cool, man. I mean, I love Japan. I went back out there a couple of years ago with XL, but the first time I went out there with FBF was another experience. And what I remember, man, it was just everybody's just super into it out there. Really appreciative. The support out there is just different. Like they're really out there for the music, and really appreciative that you come out there to play these shows for them, because they don't get so many bands from the U.S. or from Canada, like, because we went out there with Razor, and they don't get so many bands out there to be touring. So they're definitely appreciative when bands do come and tear it up, man, and give them a good show. So other than that, I mean, it was super cool because we got to see the city. Mickey Mosh, we call him, is our friend that took us out there, and he showed us around, took us to the Osaka Castle, took us to I can't remember exactly where it's called, but we saw some really cool stuff, man. Some historic stuff out there, which is a cool experience. So can't
What
wait to get back out there.
what other sites did you see besides, I assume, Osaka Castle and things of that nature?
I think it was called Niri or Nori. I can't remember
City? You talking
the
about a
name of it.
city?
Yeah, it's another
Nara.
city, but it's Nara. There you go. Where there's like, dude, there's like deer everywhere, and like they're just like sacred deer everywhere. And it was like this temple that we went to go see like the biggest Buddha, in that part of Asia, and it was cool. That so we got to see that, and that was a cool experience.
Now, what was going on as you were writing Trapped in Perdition?
Man, what was going on? Well, that was 2012, 2013. I think we were on Noise Out Records, and we actually wrote that full album and sent it in. And they told us actually this album has to be a little bit longer, because I think the contract that we had was like each album had to be like 45 minutes long, which is kind of weird. But for Trapped in Perdition, we just wanted to go a little bit more, experiment with a little bit more death metal sounding. Chris was I think he started Skeletal Remains like a year before, I think in like 2011. So he was like super influenced with death metal at the time, and so was I. I was pretty influenced in death metal at that time, and me and Chris were the writers mostly. We're the ones that mostly wrote. I'm a writer with whoever the guitarist at the time comes in, I guess. So like right now, me and Rubio write a lot of the stuff. But at that time, it was me and Chris, and like I said, we were super into death metal at that time, and we just, I mean, it's kind of a weird question of what was going on, but can't really recall exactly what was going on. But I mean, we were in that garage mostly every day, like literally writing and practicing to get this out, because we did have a kind of a time frame, and we wanted to get into the studio before we headed out on tour in the winter. That we're doing a tour with Creator, Morbid Angel, and Nile. So our plan was to go to Florida, record with Erik Rutan, and then fly from there to Europe and do the tour, which it ended up happening. We ended up accomplishing that, but it was a tight schedule. Like we recorded the album in 2 weeks, which is a super hardcore time crunch. Like I don't think he's ever done recorded an album in like 2 weeks. I think the least is like a month. So it was pretty rough in the studio, man. It was like all day, every day, just straight up 12-hour days for 2 weeks in the studio, just laying it down, man. But yeah, cool times, I guess.
Now, personally, what was the most wild adventure when it came to past FBF concerts you've played?
Wild adventure probably would be in Brazil, man. 2013. 2013 we went out to Brazil to do a tour. It was supposed to be a full-on South American tour, and ended up just being Brazil, because I think we were supposed to be out there for like 3.5 weeks, but we ended up having to cut the tour like within 2 weeks, like into it. Man, that tour was wild, man. We were touring in a little tiny Fiat, 5 people. It was a driver plus 4 of us with our guitars and our like bags of like clothing, whatever we took, in a tiny Fiat, just packed. And some of these drives, man, through Brazil were rowdy. I mean, like pouring rain, like Amazonian, going through like some Amazon type shit, like literally going through like slums and stuff like that, and like 10-hour drives, like just all cramped up in this like Fiat. Sometimes it was like 12-hour drives. It was super weird. So I would say that was probably the most adventurous time, because we saw a lot of crazy shit and we experienced a lot of crazy shit. I mean, the first night we got out there, we played Sao Paulo, and I remember Rick was wearing an LA Dodgers hat, and one of the dudes told him, "Yo, you might want to take that LA hat off because around here that's like some kind of gang." So they recognized that LA as a gang, so he had to take off his hat. And then they witnessed some dude like getting like pickpocketed and like, and then I remember we were driving like from the venue back to our hotel, and there was this homeless, like this street, kind of like Skid Row in LA, but it was just like they were like, "Oh yeah, this street over there," and it was super dark, like you can just see like people like zombies, dude, like just walking around. And he was like, "Yeah, man, like that place right there is like no cops go over there anymore. That it's forbidden. Like they just forgot about that place. So like everybody's all drugged out, homeless in this area." And I remember he's telling us this, and he had to like slam on the brakes, dude, because like there was a homeless like junkie guy just like in the middle of the road, like just curled up, like sleeping, just like nothing. He almost fucking ran him over, man. And we're just like, holy shit, this is the first night, you know, we get into Brazil. We're witnessing all this crazy shit. But the shows were great, dude. I mean, like I said, this is another country that a lot of bands don't get to go to a lot, especially a lot of US bands. And we were playing a lot of smaller like cities within Brazil. So not just like Sao Paulo and Rio and the big cities. We're hitting a lot of small spots. So it was really cool for people, you know, they were super appreciative. They were like, "What the fuck are you doing here in this city?" You know, and we're just like, "We're touring, man," you know, like they're like, "Thanks for coming." And we never get bands from out of the country here. And so that was cool. And every show other than like experiencing all this crazy stuff. And also like while we're touring and hitting like each of these cities, at this time Brazil was going through this massive like protest, because I think they were, I can't remember what exactly was going on, but I know it was like something with taxes were getting raised, and like bus fares were getting raised, and like amongst other things. And each city we hit, we literally just missed like these massive protests with like thousands of people like within the city. So like we were following this protest like just going on. I remember like getting woken up like one morning. It was like a massive protest just walking down the street, and we just hear them like chanting and marching. And I look out the window and I'm just seeing this like crowd of people just going to the street. I'm just like, holy shit, like this is nuts. Like I never experienced anything like that, especially in, you know, in another country, you know? So I think Brazil was probably like the rowdiest, most craziest time we've toured and played shows, and getting to play with our brothers in Violator in their hometown was another cool experience. You know, we toured with those guys in Europe in 2009 or 2010, and so to get to play with them in their hometown was super fucking cool. So yeah, man, I definitely want to go back, because I didn't want to cut it short. The reason why we cut it short was because Chris actually got like sick out there. He got, I don't even know what kind of flu he caught, but we had to take him to like the hospital like in the middle of the night to get like some kind of shot. And he did not feel great. He had like this mad fever, dude. And that was another experience. And just driving through these roads, and some of the promoters were giving us problems about payment and things like that. So a lot of those problems were the reason why we had to cut the tour, because we were supposed to do like Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Peru, but we weren't able to do that. So hopefully we do get back out there, and hopefully it's a little more better organized. But it was an experience, and I'll never forget it.
Now, can you tell me what the LA metal scene is like right now to perform as a musician?
Right now, man, it's a little weird, especially with everything going on and restrictions and things like that. And a lot of the venues out here are like ran by Live Nation, so I'm not exactly what type of shows are going through there. I know we're more of an independent band. We like to play more independent venues and stuff like that, you know. So, and honestly, I haven't been to a metal show since probably 2000, before the pandemic, obviously. So yeah, I can't even say how it is right now, man. I mean, I see people posting and things like that, and they seem to be doing pretty well, like at these smaller independent spots. But I'm not sure about shows that are going on at like bigger venues like the Regent out here in downtown, or anything else. I mean, we did play a whiskey show in August, and that was a really good show. I mean, it was sold out. We played with Evil Dead, Hyrax, and it was a sold out show. So that was good. That was a really good show. So I mean, everybody is super into it. You know, the response was great. You know, a lot of people hadn't seen us play. Actually, we played one show right before the pandemic in February of 2020, and that one was another good one. It was packed, basically sold out show. Well, that was a free show, so it was packed. Yeah, I mean, I guess the scenes. People are hungry, dude. People want to see live shows. People want to go out there and just be themselves, man, and just hang out, party, and have a good time. So I don't know. I mean, we're setting up a show in November for our release show, so hopefully that one turns out well. And yeah, man, I'm not really sure.
Do you have a date set for the concert yet?
No, not yet. We're in contact with our booking agent, or not our booking agent, with our promoter, our friend. Her name's Kim. She runs Born for Burning. So we're in contact with her. She's in contact with some venues and giving us some options. So not sure, but the release is November 12th, so we want to get something around there.
You're putting out the Past, Present, and No Future EP, Part 1 in the fall and Part 2 in the spring. How many of these EPs are planned, and can you tell me a bit about each one?
It's just going to be 2-part EP. The plan was to do a 4-song EP, and that was supposed to be sometime released last year. We were in the studio, you know, things happened, so it got pushed back to this year. But the plan was to do a 4-song EP, and then we got in contact with M Theory, and he wanted to put it out for us. So then we kind of thought about different things. Why don't we do 2 7-inch releases, 2 songs on each part? So this first part, which is Bloodshed, and another song called Disrupt, which will be out in November. And like you said, in spring, the second part would be a song called Mangled Truth. And yeah, it's just 2 parts, 2 different 7-inches, 2 different color covers. One is a black. The first one's gonna be a white cover. The next one's gonna be a black cover. So yeah, it's just something we kind of thought of. We've never did any kind of 7-inch release, so it was just something that we wanted to do. We just wanted to put it out, man. I had written these songs in 2018 or 19, and at that time we were pretty much on hiatus, and then we decided to all right, let's try and do something. Since I had these songs written, I was like, yo, let's try and put these out. Let's do something. Let's get back together, and so yeah, we decided to do that. That's why we played that show in 2020 in February. We were supposed to do some touring. We are supposed to go out to Brutal Assault and do some Euro touring, but pandemic hit, so that's what pushed everything back. And yeah, right now it's a little weird, but yeah, we're putting that out. November 12th is the first part, Bloodshed and Disrupt, Past, Present, No Future.
Yeah, I saw on your Bandcamp, you got the track list for the Part 2. You got Non-Existent and Mangled Truth. Could you tell me a little bit about each song?
Non-Existent. For the first part, Bloodshed, I know Rick Rick writes most of the lyrics. I wrote one song which is called Mangled Truth. That's gonna come on the second part. But I know the first song, Bloodshed, was inspired by we played in France in 2012 at some place called Bataclan, and that is the place that got attacked by a terrorist attack in 2014, I believe, when the Eagles of Death Metal were out there. So he got inspired by that whole event because it just kind of took him, once you hear about that, like he kind of took it back to like being there and knowing the venue and just kind of putting himself in that spot. And so Bloodshed is basically about like this terrorist attack that happened at the Bataclan venue in France. The next song, what is it? Disrupt. Honestly, I have not read the lyrics on that, or I have read the lyrics, but I just can't remember what it's about, dude. I can look at the lyrics right now. But yeah, I mean those are Rick's lyrics. Rick writes most of the lyrics. I just write most of the music.
I see. And did we go over Non-Existent and Mangled Truth?
Mangled Truth is basically about the corruption that all these leaders are, these world leaders and the media and everything that the world, I guess, watches, or they just kind of, Mangled Truth is just basically about them mangling the truth, giving you a whole different truth than what the reality is. And I believe government has been doing a lot of that for quite some time. Not only what a lot of things that are going now, but past things like cannabis laws and drug laws and everything that they have oppressed people with. There's a lot of truth that is not out there, or people that don't know about it. And it's a crazy world we're living in, man. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misinterpretations out there, and that's basically what that song's about. And the other one, I can't remember exactly what Non-Existent was.
Right now, how frequent are your practice sessions, and what are they like?
Dude, we try to practice every Sunday, but it's basically like all our schedules. We all have our own lives. We all have schedules. We all have jobs and things that we do. So we try to get together every Sunday, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Like today, we're supposed to jam, but Rick actually won some football, some Rams tickets on the radio like the other day. So he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna end up going to this Rams game." So we ended up canceling. But yeah, we try to get at least once a week because our schedules are just all over the place. Like one of our dudes gets out like super late, like at 8 or 9 sometimes, and we don't have a studio or anything, so we jam at my parents' garage. We've been jamming there ever since we've pretty much started. So we just keep it over there, and we got limited time out there. We don't try to practice too late. We try to practice during the day, and so yeah, we try to get together at least once a week. But it's even that's hard, man.
What is your most cherished possession when it comes to Fueled by Fire memorabilia?
Man, probably just my records, man. To have the actual physical copy of what you put out, I think those would be my cherished possessions. Framing them and being able to put them on the wall and just being like, yo, I wrote this, or I put this out, and people like it, people support it, it's helped people through things, like things like that. I think just having the physical copy of your accomplishment of what you put out is pretty much my prized possession from the band. That's how I feel. I usually there's things that I collected over the years, like tons of flyers from like European tours, and like I'll buy magazines if I see something of us in there. Like I've seen some magazines out in Europe that I run across like an ad for one of our albums. I'm like, oh shit! So I buy it, and I remember when Spread the Fire came out, the the European branch of Metalblade, they sent us like this huge like binder of all the magazines and all the like webzines that they promoted us in, and so I have that binder that I cherish because it has like everything from that early time. And I mean, I have video and all kinds of, like, I'm the one who keeps like everything, so I have like all the video, I have tons of pictures, I have all our vinyls, numbered vinyls, numbered CD, like every original CD. I have things that I used to have a mug that a fan gave us that he made for us. I have like things from like Hellfest, like this bottle of wine that they gave us at Hellfest, and like another bottle of wine from France that some guy just gave us because we were out there, you know. So I'm the one who collects a lot of the stuff. So I have shirts, everything. Like I'm pretty sure I have every shirt that we've made, but I'm not too sure. I gotta go through all of them, but I know I have our very first shirt that we made. So yeah, I guess I'm a collector of all of our memorabilia, man. So I have it. I have it all. But I think my most prize is just seeing the actual physical copy of what you put out.
Now, what's your favorite urban legend or ghost story from LA?
The urban legend, damn, I would say the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. That Cecil Hotel, I don't know if you ever heard about it. Actually, there's a Netflix documentary on it now. If you watch the Netflix documentary, then you know what I'll be talking about. But that the hotel is pretty creepy in itself. It's an old school hotel in basically like on Main Street, which is a couple streets away from Skid Row. So you know a lot. So it's pretty rough around that area. First of all, I know that they do like low income housing on half of that hotel, and then the other half is like hotel. But I think it's closed down now. But before that, people have stayed there, like Richard Ramirez, like during like a few murders that he has done. There's the whole Lisa Lam case that has gone on there. There's been people that have committed suicide there, like jumping out of the building, and like just all kinds of like dark, crazy stuff that goes on at this hotel. And I think they finally closed it down like a couple years ago. I'm not even too sure, but yeah, man, it's been open since the 20s. It's been a hotel and low income housing, and so yeah, if you watch that Netflix documentary, you would know, or read anything about it. But the Cecil Hotel, like it's a pretty crazy spot here in downtown that has a lot of urban legend and a lot of crazy things happening there.
Final words.
Final words, man. Thanks for the interview. You know, everybody, thanks for your support. Thanks for checking this out. And Past, Present, No Future is released. Actually, part 1 is released November 12th, and part 2 I think is going to be released in March of 2022. So it's quite a while. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the questions. Appreciate the support. Hopefully we can meet someday and hang out and have a beer, or if you don't drink, smoke, or whatever it is, man, just hang out.
Definitely, man. Hang out and drink and watch some horror movies or something. Really appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can talk soon and keep in touch.
Definitely, man. This has been an interview with Carlos Gutierrez, drummer for Fueled by Fire, on Sunday, October 3rd, 2021, by Nick Perkel.